大家好，欢迎大家收看安娜看法节目。最近加州政府针对火灾后的恢复推出了几项非常重要的政策，包括了3个月内禁止低价房产交易的禁令，还有反价格欺诈行政令。这些措施到底是如何影响到大家的生活的呢？又是如何影响整个房地产市场的呢？今天我们特别荣幸的邀请到了安娜律师楼的创始人安娜戴米奇 （Anna Demichik），请安娜律师为我们大家解答这些政策的关键问题。Hi, Anna. It's so good to have you with us today. Thanks for making the time.
Happy to be here. Hello.
Hi, Anna. 我想请问你的是到底是谁发布了这个政策呢？他们到底是依据什么样的权利推出的呢？ Anna, who issued this policy and what authority did they base it on?
So there are several policies that are being issued, and they're called executive orders, which is basically emergency measures. They're not necessarily going through the same process as other laws go through, but they're issued by governing authorities for different locations in an emergency. And the main policies we're talking about are the executive orders by the California governor, and also there are executive orders by the LA mayor.
好，非常感谢安娜的介绍我还想请问安娜律师，这个禁令到底适用于哪些人呢？哪些类型的房产交易会受到限制呢？Who does this ban apply to, and what types of property transactions are restricted, Anna?
So let's clarify first. We're really talking right now about the ban on offers to purchase properties in specific zip codes, in the zip codes affected by the latest fires. And I want to caution everybody out there, because we know the fires are still ranging. There's been just a new fire literally yesterday that just started, and it's pretty big already. So the zip codes will be changing, right? What is true today might not be true as of the time the video is issued. So it is essentially a ban on property offers to purchase property in certain zip codes affected by the fires, as long as these offers to purchase property are made below the market price as calculated on January 6, 2025. Right? So market price below market value as calculated on January 6, 2025. Who this applies to. So in the media, you can see in the articles, they're talking about that this applies to developers. But if you read the actual text of Gavin Newsom's order, it applies to all cash offers. It does not actually specify who makes the offer. It could be any cash offers.
刚才安娜律师还说到了政府要求房产交易的价格不得低于2025年1月6号的公平市场价值。那么火灾后的市场那么不稳定所谓的公平市场价值到底是怎么界定的呢？Anna, you just mentioned the government says property deals cannot go below fair market value, but with the market so unstable after a fire, how do they determine fair market value?
Well, that's another question, and that's another problem with this order is that it's really not clear on the order is really not clear on its definitions. It's so vague that essentially if the government wants to go after somebody for violating it, there's going to be a lot of litigation just to establish what we consider fair market value. So maybe that's why they picked the point of January 6th, because this is still considered normal market before all the fires started. So the normal market mechanisms that the government usually utilizes could be applied here.
安娜，你会不会觉得这个事情会引发买卖双方的矛盾呢？Could this lead to disputes between buyers and sellers?
I think it will, considering how litigious people tend to get, especially in California. Just the very possibility of litigation already means that people can use that to basically go after something they do not like if they have money to go and litigate. Right. So yes, I think it does open up the possibility of serious disputes between buyers and sellers, and also opens the door for the government to go after people.
那您觉得这个政策会不会完全禁止房产交易呢？会对买家和卖家到底产生什么样的影响呢？Anna, does this ban completely block property transactions?
No, it technically does not completely block property transactions. It just, in reality, it's really almost impossible to have property transactions where the fair market value is set as of January 6th, but everything is burned down. So why would anyone offer the price pre-fires before everything burned down is just unclear. So by law, it's not meant to stop property transactions, but in reality, it does put quite a freeze on them, yes.
那您觉得买家会不会觉得被限制了呢？卖家又能得到什么样的保护呢？ How does it affect buyers and sellers?
It affects sellers in a way that there will be fewer willing buyers. So if some sellers feel that they need cash and they maybe would prefer to take, let's say, less than fair market value, but they would rather get money right now, it stops them from doing so because there are no offers by the buyers. Buyers are essentially prohibited from offering anything below the fair market value as of before the fires. And for buyers, it really gives no incentives to make this kind of offer because there's been so much damage and the areas have been destroyed. It's not clear if this area would regain value and how soon. So it really makes no sense for the buyers to make offers.
这个禁令啊，只有3个月。安娜律师，您觉得这个时间够吗？它是真的可以解决问题，还是说这只是一个象征性的措施呢？ Anna, the ban is only for 3 months. Do you think that is enough time? Is it solving the issue or just symbolic?
Well, I think what the government had in mind, the California government had in mind, is they were just basically trying to prevent people who are in the state of shock from making rash decisions about their property. So if we're talking about 3 months from that standpoint, basically the waiting period, you can still sell your property later, or you can like buy a property later. I think that maybe does protect people from making decisions in the state of shock. But at the same time, I feel that really people should be able to make this sort of decisions on their own. And the government should not be interfering in that because, like I said, if some people want cash right now, they really should be able to see what the market offers, right, in terms of getting cash and getting the resources they might need right this second.
好，非常感谢安娜律师的介绍。其实除了刚才律师说到这个3个月的房产交易禁令之外啊，加州政府呢还推出了一项非常重要的新政策，那就是反价格欺诈行政令。这个政策呢会持续到2026年，主要就是为了防止企业在灾区随意的抬高基本的商品和服务的价格。那么这个行政令到底保护了谁？效果会怎么样呢？接下来我们继续请安娜律师为我们大家解答这个问题哈。Anna, the anti-price gouging executive order prohibits businesses from significantly rising prices on essential goods and services in disaster-affected areas. What are considered essential goods and services, and what is covered under this order, and what is not included?
So the essential goods and services, the government is specifically talking about goods and services necessary for rebuilding, for construction, and also goods and services such as food, water, essential medications, maybe some kind of hygiene supplies, basically things that people do need in their daily lives just to survive. And yes, so these are considered emergency goods and services.
这个政策听起来好像是保护消费者的哈，但是安娜律师，您觉得它会不会带来一些问题呢？比如说商品就供应不足了，或者说商家不愿意再提供服务了。And this policy sounds like it's protecting consumers, but do you think it could cause problems like supply shortages or businesses not wanting to provide services anymore?
Oh, absolutely. Because this anti-price gouging law demands that if the price of goods or services goes up more than 10%, it prohibits the price of goods and services from going up from more than 10%. And everything needs to be very heavily documented. So it's not just the burden on the providers to get the goods and services to the affected areas, to the affected consumers, which is already harder, right? Because there's so much damage to the infrastructure. It's literally much harder to just organize the process of bringing goods and services to the affected areas. It already increases the costs. But now the providers also have to make sure that every little thing is documented very meticulously and the records are stored. Not just going forward, but also they should have comparable documentation for the past price, how the prices have been formed. So it is so much additional work. And again, like I was saying earlier in the executive orders regarding properties, it opens the doors to additional litigation. So I can absolutely see how providers might decide that it's really not worth the trouble, even like rushing to provide those additional goods and services that people would need. And that could easily lead to shortages, yes.
好，今天非常感谢安娜律师为我们大家解答这些非常实际的问题哈。这些政策的初衷当然是好的，目的是保护受灾者，但是他们具体的效果呢，还需要我们继续的关注。今天非常感谢大家的收看。Thanks so much for your insights, Anna. We'll continue to follow this topic closely. We hope to have you back again soon.
Thank you.